Welcome back. So, we are finally at the stage where we're going to start writing. We have done everything that we're supposed to do. We looked at a sample paragraph. We talked about it a little bit. We looked at a multiple choice. We read the entire article. All right, remember, this is an article called Sowing Community. And Sowing Community is about getting a community going, getting a whole yard full of different types of vegetables, including weird ones like purple cauliflower. Right? Instead of having a lawn like you see pictured here, that's beautiful, but doesn't do much for the environment, doesn't do much for your house or home or community. Instead, we start doing stuff with our neighbors. Right? Oh, look, I made rhubarb pie using the rhubarb in my lawn. So the effect is, as a result of the garden, we get better meals, better community. Then we looked at a sample essay, and we even typed in cause and effect right here, right? Cause, effect, we get more community, night gardening, more human interaction, according to this guy right here, right? Okay. So now we're doing some pre-writing. First, let's find out what they're asking us to do. Write an essay analyzing the effect that the edible landscape project has had on the community. Well, go ahead and turn that to a statement. Here's our thesis. The effect that the edible landscape project has had on the community is 1, 2, and 3. Please take a moment to write that down. Yeah, what a great song. All right, now we have taken some time to work on some notes. All right, we did a little pre-writing, we did a little thinking. So now we're going to cook up some sentences that we can use later about the article to write our essay. So let's take a look. First, distinctions, right? I've got distinctions. What would be some good words for this? Well, I see the word complement and I see describe. I like both of those. All right, let's put them in our essay. Describe and compliment. Yeah. All right. So describe. Use this as context, right? I'm not sure what your 1, 2, 3 were, but describing what's going on in the article generally would probably help to set up the argument you're making overall about the effect of the edible landscape on the community. So describe. One family, B, and I'm going to just put an S dash dash because it's a long German name that I didn't memorize. One family, the S's, volunteered to have their front lawn turned into an edible landscape. Right now, this word compliment. Good for compliment. Oh, I know. Neighbors would compliment the project by, and then there were certain things that neighbors did, right? There were parties, conversations, connections, etc. Take a moment to make sure you've got those 2 sentences as well. Ooh. All right. Let's spell neighbors. All right. Next things next. Then we talked about and we thought about systems, part and whole, and nature. Well, let's go ahead and use part and whole and nature here, starting with nature. So, nature, part, and whole. I like part and whole because it helps us think about the community first. I like nature because it's all about nature. So this project emphasizes nature. So I'm going to use that later in my essay. And then part and whole. Although the S's are part of a whole community, their one garden helps everyone to da da da. Ooh, perfect. Take a moment and use those sentence starters in your essay too. Yes, indeed. All right, now we're going to go ahead and get three more words from here and two more words from here, and then we're going to see if we can cook up some sentences on our own to help us write our essay. So we've got socialize, network, and contact. Socialize, network, contact. If you don't know that word network, it means it's like a verb, and it's a verb that means to connect with others. And then for perspectives, I like attitude and empathy. All right. I like attitude. There does seem to be an attitude change amongst people in the family and people in the community. And I like empathy because when people connect, they tend to understand each other, understand another person. All right. So we want to make sure we have those words in our notes. Take about, a little less than a minute to get them. All right. So, last thing I want to do before I just let you write to the prompt, right, is to just remind yourself what happens in the story, what happens in the article. You're welcome to go back and read it. In fact, that's a great idea if you're writing a TDA. But just remember that there's an edible landscape, right? And that it helps neighbors to come together. They cook all sorts of different things. They grow the vast gardens, and they think it's going to be a lot of work, but the neighbors help out. The picky eaters get what they need, even though it's got weird cauliflower, right? But Mr. Surface, can I go back and read it? Yeah, of course. You just click on the back arrows here, and you can reread it, or just maybe look at everywhere you put the uh, light bulb. Right? For this one, a lot has changed in 10 weeks since the Schoenhauer family allowed a crew to tear up their entire front lawn in Woodbury and replace it with edible plants. A lot of mystery edibles sprouted in Schoenhauer's yard since the crew, led by California artist Fritz Head, transformed into edible estate number 15. While the traditional suburban lawns hog resources while contributing little, edible landscapes not only produce food but also promote human interaction, according to Hay. Right? Maybe there's somewhere where you've got a check mark, right? Now they're spending a lot more time in their front yard, and so are their neighbors, right? Look at their happy, smiling faces. That's a good thing, right? Catherine organized gardening nights so neighbors can gather. They got home-based childcare facility to help people go to the children's garden, right? It helps with daycare. My job has been eating, she said, and blogging. It chronicles the family's garden journey. We always had a close neighborhood, but neighbors I didn't know as well, I know better now. Closer networking. I think it's the start of a really good thing, right? What effect? Look at that word effect. It goes right with our essay. It uses the exact same word, effect, effect. There's a perfect quote for you, right? And that's the whole art, not a long one. So you want to take the time to be disciplined now. You want to take the time to write for 10 minutes without interruption, giving your brain a real chance to get going. So let's give ourselves 10 minutes now. Go ahead and begin. right, and I'll let the timer do the rest of the work for those other 9 minutes. Bye.